welcome everyone to Empowering Entrepreneurs. I feel like we've got a lot of excitement in the audience. Really excited about that. I love the energy, amazing. I'm so excited to be here today with Fadmo and with Carmen. We were just talking backstage about how this is a really important topic, and I see lots of other female leaders here in the audience, so I think we're really gonna get some good conversation out of these 30 minutes that we have together. So let's start a little bit with exploring some of the challenges that women face. To let you all know, Carmen and Fadmo both work in predominantly male-dominated businesses. I'll let them tell you more about their line of work. But again, this will be really interesting insights to hear, especially with the backgrounds that you both have. So let's start with Carmen. Carmen, could you talk to us a little bit about some of the stereotypes that you faced in your professional career, whether it's with your role that you're taking right now or something from before? How have you challenged these stereotypes in your role?
Yeah, thank you, Sophia, and thank you for inviting me and let me take part of this awesome roundtable with Faduma and you. It's so privileged. Yeah, well, I work in the transport industry, which is a very masculine sector, and the stereotype is white male in his 50s, even 60s, so not so much innovation, little room for new ideas. And what we are doing in Tracksters, it's like as we have a diverse team, we think out of the box. So transport industry, it's very focused on the process, very cost effective, very put in detail on the transit times. And these heavy loads, it's shoulder on the truck driver's back. So in 2018, we thought about, hey, how is truck driver's life? It's very hard driving conditions, very hard working conditions, but no one cared about that. So we decided to focus, instead of in the process, focus on the people. So, but we are a business, so we need to be cost effective. So what did we do? We developed a relay model system. Instead of having a truck driver driving for four days, going to the other part of Europe and coming back and spending 2 weeks away from home, we put some relay points during the path, and they exchanged the cargo with another truck driver. So he came back home, he spent more time with his family, and as the cargo does not stop, we got transit time similar to air transportation. So that's a very good example about how when you focus on people, you can get better results. Now we have very good transit times, but we take care of the truck drivers.
Exactly, and I think Fadmo, you can probably relate to some of this about people-oriented business and things like this. Could you talk a little bit as well of maybe some of the stereotypes or challenges that you faced being a woman in the sector that you're working in?
I think basically, if we just focus on challenges, of course everything might seem very big and scary. But as a founder, I just focus on my own job, my purpose, which is like making or doing an impact on healthcare. So basically, my background is I'm a healthcare professional by myself. I'm a public health nurse, and I founded my company in 2020 during the Corona pandemic time. So basically, I have a extensive experience in gig work by doing it, and I saw at that time all the challenges the gig workers had. So basically, they weren't appreciated the work they were doing. Basically, they were helping the staff because someone was always like sick or they just have a gap. Yeah, so, and of course the salary was very bad. So basically what I did was like during the Corona time, I founded Hoiva that is like very reliable and a company that appreciated the employees, and it's a trustworthy. And we at the same time developed our own software that helped us to scale the business. Now we have over 11,000 healthcare professionals in our pool in Finland. And now that we are a very attractive startup, of course, we have this we had investors, and they didn't even like. I didn't have to pitch on them; they came to pitch to me. So basically, when we just focus on the challenges, it might look like very scary, but in the end, in business world, of course, it's a, like Carmen said, it's a very male-dominant place. But if we have women like us who actually focus on the purpose that they have and actually help the people, not just focus on the money and the stuff. So that's the strength with women. And yeah, I think we should, as a women, just focus on our own strength and not the challenges or the lack of role models. We can actually be the role model.
Absolutely, yeah. I see, again, we have a lot of young women in the audience here. So let me ask the audience a quick question. How many of you, for both the men and the women in this case, how many of you have ever made yourself feel smaller, or you've blocked yourself from opportunities at work because you just felt like maybe you weren't qualified enough? Raise your hands. Yeah? Quite a lot, right? Yeah, we're not alone. So again, for both of you guys, you've secured, you've worked in your startups, you're working in these businesses, you're obviously at a place where, you're more established, right? Could you talk to maybe giving some advice to our audience or people out there who might not necessarily be in that place yet? What are some things that we could work on? What are some, is it confidence building, skills, etc.? What can we do to make ourselves get over that fear that we're not qualified or that we don't belong in these spaces?
Yeah, well, I'm also the co-founder of Female Startup Leaders, so I'm very used to that syndrome, the imposter syndrome, and that kind of, I feel too small. And when you are surrounded by so brilliant women doing so amazing things, then you start thinking, okay, if that woman is feeling that way, hey, that's a problem. That's a problem of the system, not that's a problem of herself. So my advice will be, my piece of advice will be, get surrounded by women, by diverse people, by people who think that you can do it, that people that support you. And that's what we do. That's what we essentially do in Female Startup Leaders. We try to visualize diverse reference, reachable references, and also healthy references. So new generations can be reflected on them and say, hey, I can do that. Because I think that's the only way. We have been, over decades, seeing, watching on TV, watching on the videos, the same kind of stereotype of an entrepreneur. And, well, myself, I didn't felt represented by that kind of person, but that kind of leadership. But then when I look to, well, when I look to you, Faduma, I feel like, hey, we are changing something. We are changing things, and we need that new generation can watch on the videos, on the social media, whatever, that new kind of leadership.
Absolutely. Falmo, do you have anything to add as well to that?
Yeah, so basically, you have to first start off yourself, say like, know yourself. What is your strength? What is your weaknesses? Focus on yourself, and you have to like defy all the limitations and the expectations, because usually we focus on what other people think about. Okay, if I do this, maybe I will be embarrassing myself. So basically, you won't do nothing based on what other people are thinking about. If you just focus on yourself and like let all other people live themselves and have like, or build your self-confidence, because without self-confidence, you cannot actually do nothing. Because the first person who says this is absolutely dumb idea, you'll feel like crying and say, okay, this is dumb. So basically, you have to have the self-confidence and believe in whatever you are doing. And consistency, of course, because nothing comes easily. You have to put a lot of effort. Me and Carmen, every entrepreneur, we like put a lot of efforts, hours, so it's not easy path. If you want to succeed, you have to like get rid of the comfortable space and do everything that's not feeling good.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that the point of not putting so much importance to what people think about you is really key. Even in preparing for this summit today, I kept telling myself, oh, well, why should I be the one that's sitting up there? What qualifications do I have to be sitting there? And you start to talk down to yourself, put yourself down without anybody else even saying anything, right? Nobody else has been thinking that. That's just the thought that you put in your own head, right? So I really like what you guys are talking about with this confidence and believing in yourself and rooting for yourself, right? Carmen, I like that you brought up the point about being in spaces that are more diverse, being in spaces around other inspiring women. How do you think we, as women in the audience, but also the male allies that I see here in the audience, how can we make steps to foster this more inclusive environment in any of our workplaces?
Yeah, that's a good question because once that you go, well, in female startup leaders, we have a very diverse environment. So I think I thought we don't need to put like efforts on get more diverse, but we realized that, hey, have you seen the age of the people of female startup leaders? We don't have plus 50 entrepreneurs here, and we don't have low 20 entrepreneurs here. Hey, we have a lack of diversity in the age. We are suffering from age bias. So even if you think that you are moving towards diversity, you cannot like stop analyzing yourself, rebuilding your mindset, because we thought we were diverse, and then we realized that we were not. So I think that you have to be constantly thinking over how you can be more open to new cultures, more open to new ages in our cases, or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. And Fatma, especially with something like the healthcare industry and the sector that you take with healthcare and health tech, what would your advice be to people who are looking to help make the space more inclusive?
Yeah, so basically you have to start on your own, or look around the people who you're surrounded by. Are they all same looking people, same ages? So basically that will be something that will automatically have influence on you. Of course, you will just hire someone who likes the same hobby or goes to the same hobby than you. So basically, when you like get out of your own box, you're living, and or have more diverse company surrounding you, I think that's something you have to like in your not your career, like in normal life. Start doing that, and of course it will reflect on the career. Because myself, I'm from minority. We are in Finland. We have like only 20,000 Somalis, and I've been since I was a little girl with Arabs and Asians, Africans, and people from other part of Europe. So basically, the diverse was very in my life. It wasn't like something that I have to in my company say I have to be diverse. I didn't have to say it because automatically it was in me. So basically, and what I've seen in being a diversity workplace and having the inclusion, you will be more successful because you will have people from other part of world, or people who have different background. Of course, they will add some better or perspective from your own view. So if you're just with the same people, they won't give you or add anything new. But people who comes from have other backgrounds, usually they can see something that you don't even see it or realize it. So, and other thing is you have to like give space for the people who doesn't maybe know or have the encouragement to say aloud, or have this like bias by themselves that okay, I might look different, I'm not from the majority, maybe my voice will be, or I'm not like needed to be spoken. So basically you have to actually sometimes ask them if they're not even in director. So it's always good to ask the other people's also perspective, and this is part of the inclusion.
Absolutely agreed. I was thinking in the past, like prejudice and preconceived ideas obviously make a huge impact on the people who suffer from them, but also the people who project them also has consequences from those prejudices, because they lost a big opportunity to learn from other cultures, other perspectives, other mindsets. And it's a real pity, because you can change the industry as we do in Trucksters by adding diversity to your board, adding diversity to your mindset, trying to, hey, we always have done that and it worked in the industry. No, let's change it because we have to change that. So there are consequences also for the people who target those prejudices, and sometimes we forgot that part.
Absolutely, yeah. When you include diversity, it definitely benefits both parties, like you're saying. So kind of speaking of including diversity, adding diversity to your companies, since you both are co-founders, I assume you do work with your hiring processes quite a bit, right? So I actually took this from last year's LinkedIn Gender Insights report, and the data showed that women actually applied to 20% less jobs than men, and a lot of the reason why was because of the years of requirement or different qualifications. Some women felt like historically they were not seen in that role, or they didn't meet every single qualification, so they just didn't apply for the job at all. Whereas their male counterpart applied for the job even without having met every single qualification. Yeah, I see you guys both nodding, and I see some nods in the audience. It's something that we all face, right? So what do you guys think people can do, whether it's yourselves as founders, whether it's somebody who works at a Fortune 500 company? How can we make these hiring processes more inclusive so that more women do apply and put themselves out there, even if you haven't met every single qualification? Fatma, do you want to start?
Yeah. So basically, for me, I don't like the CVs, because CV is just someone can just write it, but you have to have the confidence when you go to like a recruitment process. You have to like be confident with your own everything that you've experienced and know. Basically, the company usually wants you as a talent, your skills, your personality, not just the CV. So what I've realized is usually women, they focus on the CV and they want to be very strict and very honest. But men, they can be very like not dishonest, but they can be like more like bragging on.
They embellish.
Yeah. So basically, so the confidence, and that's the thing. What the difference with women and men, because women, they can be sometimes so humble that the humbleness looks like weakness, someone who is like hiding or not like qualified, you know. But men, they're like very like the confident, and they like believe in every sentence that they're saying, and they want to convince us that they are the talent we are looking for. And after that, they also ask a lot of money. Usually, women, we see the data that women are like less have less salaries. I think in that area also, women, they don't ask for like much money or salary. Men, they are too confident.
Absolutely.
Too confident.
Carmen, how about you, for either Chucksters or with female startup founders? How do you tackle these hiring processes?
Yeah, in Traxxas we do like blind CVs. So we just put all the demographic data away from the CV. But we are thinking of using an app which is called Blindsters. Marta, she's also a female startup leader, and she's leading a startup who is a tech, who is focused on that specific issue, trying to, keep away from the CV all those bias, so the hiring process can be fairer. And what you say, I think, Faluma, I cannot agree more. And it happens also when you're an entrepreneur and you try to raise capital. It's the same thing. It's called the bravery bias, that men used to, always ask for more money than they need, and women try to be like more specific, more concrete, and I talked to two investors a week ago, because we have a podcast called Fundadoras. If you are interested on stories about founders, women founders in Spain, I strongly recommend to watch it. And we were talking to two women investors, which is Azar Espejo, which I think she's here, and Sonia Fernandez from Kibo Ventures. And they said that now, as you know, investor ecosystem has changed a lot. So we are now more focused on profitability, not so focused on growth. So now it's the era for women, because the way that we focus our pitch, our rounds, it's like more accurate to this area. So I hope that is true, and we can, try to fight against that gender bias in the investor ecosystem, which is, only the 2% of the whole venture capital goes to female funders. And that's like, wow, that's, I think we need to do something. But if you go deeper in the data, you will see that only 6% of decision makers in the venture capital boards are women, 6%. So yeah, if we talk about diversity, we need to look into those numbers.
Processes. Yeah, absolutely. So we're getting closer to the end of our panel here, but I want to take a moment to give our audience some kind of takeaway that they can take home with them to, again, build up our confidence or get ourselves ready for being those diverse or minorities in the business world. So for me, for example, I feel like affirmations has really helped me a lot, right? If I'm preparing for South Summit and I'm telling myself I shouldn't be there, it's that constant reminder of telling yourself, you are that girl, you are that woman, you deserve to be on that stage, right? Nobody else is telling you that you don't deserve it, you belong there, right? That's my example. So what would be for you guys the one takeaway you want to give to our audience of what they can take home to go tackle the business world?
I mean, I agree with the same, but be surrounded by women better than you, who suffer from the same thoughts, like that little voice who is telling all the time that you cannot make it, you cannot make it. Okay, if you go surrounded by those kind of people, you will see that it's not your problem. It's a systematical problem.
Yeah, and that is, you have to do more, because in Finland people are like very known to be like do the minimum. In order to succeed in life, you have to do more. You have to be someone who helps other people, because the one you help today might help you in the future. So be optimistic, believe in yourself, affirmation, and of course have consistency in your life.
Absolutely, yeah. So let's go ahead and end with one last question, I think, to kind of give us some reflection before we head out of here today. Fatma, we'll start with you. What do you think, or what do you wish that the future of women and diverse people in business will look like? What does that future look like to you? Whether it's hiring processes, whether it's people asking for higher salaries, what does the ideal future look like for you?
My ideal future will look like women will be as brave, courageous as men, and believe in themselves more. And of course, that will by itself help them to succeed, because now I think they are too humble and too like scared of doing something that usually men are like okay to do it. So basically, now that we have these kind of events, of course, they will encourage women to do, and actually, when you see role models, I think this will be something that encourage you. You can do it also.
Absolutely. Carmen?
Well, I wish in the future we have more references, role models that we can admire, and new generation can just be more confident to achieve their goals. As we repeat it a lot, but we have a lot of talent here in Europe, in Spain, a lot of female entrepreneurs who are successing a lot in their business, but all the time we put examples about male guys. So we are all the time talking about Mark Zuckerberg or whatever, Elon Musk. But hey, let's talk about Melanie Perkins, who is the founder of Canva, who is helping all entrepreneurs. I think we have used Canva a lot. Let's talk about Anna Mikes, who is leading a very high-tech neuroelectrics, going to the next stage. And, well, I think all those women are awesome, and we should use them as an example, as a reference when we talk in our daily talking, in our speeches, everywhere, because that's the way that new generation can be, hey, I want to be that girl.
Absolutely, yeah. And both of you guys mentioned role models, and I think it's important to add to that point as well, thanking your role models and thanking your mentors that have helped you get to this place, right? I think that's a step that a lot of us forget, is that so many different women, different diverse people have touched us and helped us get to the point that we are today. but I don't think many of us stop and take the time to go back to those people and appreciate them and appreciate the legacy that they've helped us build, right? And in a way that can also help break this cycle of imposter syndrome, because when another female role model or leader, mentor, etc., hears that she's had that impact on someone else, if
In the South Summit, it's like a great symptom that we are changing things. So in the future, I wish there is no need to have that roundtable. There is no need that I have to found a female startup leaders association to empower and visibilize women because this is a normal thing. But while we are achieving those goals, we definitely need these kinds of spaces, this kind of debates, and this kind of thoughts.
Yeah. Actually, I'll add one thing. Yeah, usually women are like focused on the result. So basically, they want to be very done concept, whether it's in a business idea. There is nothing perfect. So basically, whatever you are doing, you just start today, and by the time it will like shape and have a new route or journey. So basically, the time is today, not tomorrow, not the next year, because every entrepreneur, they started from one day. So and don't expect anything. Your company, if you want to start a business, it won't be perfect. So so you have to get rid of the perfect mindset, because nothing is perfect, and you have to start doing today. That's my
absolutely. Yeah, and kind of ending with that point as well, and what you said, Carmen, even if in the future we don't necessarily need these types of panels, I think it's super important to always continue doing them. Like you mentioned earlier, we can always strive for more diversity, we can always strive for more inclusive spaces, so absolutely, I think this is a great first step, but there's still so much more to go, right? Ladies, thank you so much for your time today. To the audience, I hope you guys got some key takeaways from us. I hope everyone goes home feeling confident, feeling like the empowered, amazing women that you all are. And thank you so much for joining us here at South Summit today.
Thank you.